So in today's featured orchid presentation, we do have the Habenaria orchid, and in specific, the Habenaria rodocheila, the pink variety. So first we must note that the Habenarias are ground-growing orchids, also known as terrestrial orchids. This orchid right here does need a winter's rest period, similar to the catasetum type of orchids. So please do your research on the care of this orchid so that you can grow this orchid very successfully. Also, it should be noted that these type of orchids grow from tubers, and during the springtime you will find the new growth in which the foliage will grow up in a rosetta formation. And from that rosetta formation you will begin to see a stem that eventually will turn into a spike, and it'll grow into a rosetta formation in which it does hold and contain all of these unique looking blooms. And speaking of these very unique looking blooms right here, they do have a manner of blooming in which they are pretty much upright and facing upward. So to be capable of fully appreciating the uniqueness and the beauty of these blooms, you actually have to be standing above and looking downward at the flowers. Now, the amount of blooms on each spike can be abundant, and it is noted that normally on average it has about 10 blooms per spike. Now, the actual size of the blooms are only but 1.5 inches, so it is a rather small bloom, but because it has a multitude of blooms, it does make up for the size of the flowers. And another fun fact about the Habenaria rodocheila is the fact that it does come in a rainbow of colors. You can find them in shades of red, yellow, orange, and also many variations of pink. And look at here, folks, as I was showcasing the actual bloom of this rodocheila, I accidentally triggered the pollen. So indeed, this is what the pollen looks like triggered on somebody's finger like mine. And a wonderful feature about this orchid is the fact that it does have a noticeable fragrance. And the fragrance on these are somewhat of a floral wildflower type of scent. Very sweet and very lovely. Now let's go ahead and take a look at this particular Habenaria rodocheila, because as we take a closer look, I am sure you will find out how unusual they really are. Okay, so taking a look at the petals and the sepals, do you see them? Do you see the petals and the sepals? Yes, indeed, they are right here and right here. These are actually the petals and the sepals up here, and on this lower portion of what we would commonly mistake as the petals or the sepal is actually the lip or the tongue area. Okay, so now that we know what's what here, the actual colors of the petals and the sepal are that khaki brownish color at the very top. Now at the lower portion, which is the tongue or lip area, you are going to notice it is that very lovely light pink, and coming nearer to the top of that lip, you are also noting a very extreme orangey pink at the top. Also, it is very bright, kind of emulating the fact that it may be fluorescent or a neon pink. So very interesting fusion of color right there in that tongue area. And taking a side profile view of this blossom, we are going to notice that there is a string-like formation that actually hangs from the bloom. And this is actually the nectarine or the spur of the blossom, in which it contains the actual nectar that entices the pollinator or the insect to come and feed off of this nectar, and also perhaps potentially pollinate this bloom. Now, as you guys know, they do say that beauty lies in the eye of the beholder. But I also say that creativity lies in those same eyes as well. So I'm curious to know, what do you guys see, envision, and imagine that these blossoms look like? Because they are such a unique form. What do you guys see in these blossoms? And yes, indeed, folks, this is just another prime example of how creative and masterfully artistic Mother Nature is in designing and creating such wonderful works of art. I thank you guys so much for tuning in to yet another episode, and I would like to ask you guys what type of Habenaria orchids you have, because indeed there are a wide variety of them. And if you want some of these orchids, please also let me know which ones are on your wish list and why. I also want to let you guys know that I am on eBay selling some of these phenomenal orchids as well, so definitely if you're interested, please check me out on my eBay adventures as well. Thank you guys so much, and I will see you guys and also grow with you guys later. Love you all. Mwah.